Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you have a great and wonderful day. And it seems that the Democrats are proving to be bigger idiots than I thought. Yes, they're bigger idiots than I thought. Considering the fact that their state is crumbling beneath them, they are wasting billions of dollars for illegals. And the great governor, Kathy Hochul, thinks it's a great idea to have to cost the city another 175 billion, or if not, give or take around that much, because they want to be fair to the black people for racism and slavery. Great, that's all nice and well and good, but it doesn't seem too great here. I mean, let's take a look. We have this. New York Democrat governor establishes Slavery Reparations Commission amid 4.3 billion budget shortfall. Earlier this month, San Francisco initially defunded its own African American Reparations Advisory Committee, which had proposed paying $5 million, a figure they called minuscule, plus other benefits to every eligible black resident of the city. But while the payouts would have cost the city $175 billion, more than 10 times the annual budget of the city, the Reparations Committee could not even get the city to fund the $2 million they wanted to keep their office staffed and funded. You'd think New York would have learned from the unrealistic debacle before Governor Kathy Hochul signed a bill on Tuesday creating a reparations commission. But apparently, it's easy to make big promises when it's not your money, especially in an election year. Like the one in California, New York's commission will spend taxpayer dollars investigating compensation for descendants of slaves. According to the New York Times, the Reverend Al Sharpton said the Reparations Commission will heal the wounds, but the empty promises make it more likely that they will just rub salt in them. Well, I don't think it's going to heal anybody's wounds. In fact, I think it's going to make people's wounds bigger. And there's a reason for this, right? Because they just don't have the money. First, we're going to show you this, to where it doesn't seem like there's going to be a lot of money left in the tank after all this, and it has a lot to do with the illegal immigration, so take a look.
More migrants pour into New York City. Mayor Adams saying the cost is escalating into the billions of dollars. He says without major policy changes and additional support from the state and federal government, caring for asylum seekers could cost the city $12 billion over the next 3 years.
The mayor today saying if the federal government doesn't come up with a real decompression strategy and reimburse the city for all its spending on this national crisis, New York City taxpayers will be on the hook for about $4 billion each year for the next 3 years.
$12 billion. That has to come from somewhere.
That $12 billion figure, which the mayor says will inevitably impact all city services, factors in the current rate of arrivals.
So numerous ideas have been tossed around over the past few weeks on ways the city and state can do more to support migrants, especially as the city is potentially staring down a $12 billion budget hole due to costs associated with housing and feeding migrants.
Meanwhile,
medium term, the outlook is not as good. The city is projecting a $15.6 billion deficit for fiscal year 2022 through 24, mainly due to a decline in property tax collections. For the state, Governor Cuomo is estimating a $15 billion deficit for just fiscal year 2022.
Yes, and they're not going to do a round of applause. It's going to cost them probably billions upon billions of dollars, even though the people didn't really, the committee and etc. wouldn't even agree with the $2 million one. So they're happy and cheering for this, and it kind of makes you wince and makes you think, what is going on? I mean, it's a 4.3 billion budget shortfall. 4.3 billion, and this is not even counting anything else. Just look at this insanity. And if you still think that's not a problem, even after, the millions of illegal migrants most likely coming into New York, and that it's going to cost them $12 billion over the course of 3 years, they still have this. They have residents that are going to be leaving here. Take a look.
I told you about this earlier in the week, that New York City is losing some folks, right? Some residents. But it turns out that New York State
is also seeing the population drop.
Yeah, according to the Census Bureau, New York lost 102,000 people, by far the most of any state.
The hot topic buzz, blue state exodus. New York and California losing more than 500,000 residents since April of 2020 over surging housing prices and a rise in crime. Former New Yorkers say crime and homelessness has increased since 2020 and sky-high rents pushing people out of the...
And they're going to be asking, how are we going to be paying for all this? How are we going to deal with the negative population that is continuously decreasing over the course of in the past few years, and probably most likely going to continue to decrease because this living situations in New York and California are not good at all in the slightest, and it seems that they're losing all their billionaires and millionaires. They're also jumping ship. So how are they going to be able to pay for all this stuff? Well, here's the only way that they're going to do it. You see taxes here. You see the taxes that have been going on. Well, here's the thing. The taxes that we see here right on my screen, this is a New York State tax, right? Well, this is probably going to jump up considerably, correct? Like, this is going to jump up considerably. Considering the fact if they want to go on with this plan, right? If they want to go on with this plan, and they have no other way to pay for it. So, here's what's going to happen. These taxes are probably going to rise up a whole bunch because they don't have the actual amount of money to pay for all this. So they're going to have to make you pay way more taxes in order to do it. And that's one thing. Or they just don't do it at all, and they're just using it as a political ploy, which is also a very high possibility that it's going to happen. And, it's they're not going to be happy about it. But if they do go with it, there's going to have to be a way to pay for it. And they're going to probably have to make the white people pay for it. Well, there's not enough white people to pay for that huge amount of influx of money that would have to be going. So, I don't see where any of these New Yorkers are going to have to get away with this. There's going to be a way bigger exodus happening in New York when that bill does actually go on to full effect. And see all the issues that's borderline going to ruin everything in New York. Because this is not going to solve anything. As I said, this is going to make things worse. They have to get money somewhere, and the only way they're going to get this money is through taxpayers, and the only way they're going to have to get that money is by raising it enough to where it makes it feasible. So it's going to make more people run away from New York, and it's going to hurt New York even more. It's going to be a continuous effect of people running away from the Big Apple because people can't pay for things, can't afford normal necessities and stuff, and that's just going to be the true state of it all. And New York will collapse because I don't think New Yorkers are very apparent of what's happening here, or if they are aware of it, but they should probably start opening their eyes, start opening their ears, because it's really a thing that they should probably start be doing, because as they know, their city is going to crumble even more, and they're going to be suffering even more. So I think it's time for them to start opening their eyes. They already opened their eyes to the immigration. They'll really start seeing some horrible effects happening most likely in 2024 when their taxes start increasing to pay for all this stuff. So we'll see how this goes. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.
I'm disgusted by what I see in public. Even people closest to us can't be trusted. This is algorithmic disease, the social media.